I have separation anxiety.
From what?
From D's nuts.
Why would you start off like that?
Because it's been a day of. We're just gonna start off early with the shenanigans. It's been a day of fuckery, but we'll go ahead and.
If that's what we're gonna call it, we'll call it a fuckery.
It's unofficial. Day. I might edit that out. We'll see how I feel about it later.
No, just let it ride.
Let it ride. Yeah. All right, so we're here today. We're gonna be doing another Fire from the Hip episode, having a little bit of fun with it. Lynn's got some stuff, I got some stuff, and then we're just gonna wrap it up, keep it nice, and try and keep it short and sweet.
Yes, please.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm hanging on by a fucking thread.
He's hanging on by a thread. Now the shit, this kid. Fuck it. Hang on. Hello, everybody.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. Hello.
Project Airwaves. I'm D.
This is Lynn.
If you haven't yet already, please, if you're on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't yet, check us out on Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where you can, get up-to-date pictures, blah. All right, now that we got all that out of the way. Mm-hmm. This dude, go ahead.
Dude, this weather's kicking my fucking ass.
This weather is shit.
My nose hurts, my face hurts, my eye hurts. I was talking to D, and I almost didn't. We need to start trying to catch up on these episodes now that I'm back in town for, for the foreseeable future.
A day.
There's we want to start being more actively pushing out episodes on a weekly basis, not this once every in a blue moon. It reminds me more and more why I want to make podcasting a full thing, or at least have become our own networking bosses and stuff. Just because working for other people fucking sucks. I'm gonna sum this up as high as I can. Last few weeks, just for the company I work for, has been very mentally fatiguing to where I'm at that tap out point. Like, dude, I need an exit because I'm already past the point of drowning. Mm-hmm. I'm like sipping air through a straw while I'm like drowning down in the bottom. And my bosses are like, you don't need that air. And they just put their finger right on top of the straw to block the airway. So I'm sipping the air from where their finger is. And
that's a weird.
I'm just, the analogy, it's going to work. This is what
that's
we're
fair.
going
No, go with it.
I had already been worn out from traveling and doing defensive tactics for 2 weeks straight. Yeah. Just fighting with officers from different parts of the country. And, it was fun. I met some really, really cool, genuinely good people, but it takes a toll. It's like going to the gym every day and not having a rest day. Trained DTs for 5 days, fly that 6th day, half a day off on one day, and then you come back and do another 5 days and then fly back. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have some time to wind down. Nope. They threw me right in defensive tactics here in Nevada last week with classes that were roughly like 30 plus people. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. My body's still hurting, but I'll try to work through it. And I get told last minute that these people want me to go outside and ride a bike.
Now, mind you, Vegas, weird.
Right now,
80s.
Yes, it's the 80s aren't bad. It's the wind
and the dust.
For people who have allergies right now, like when we landed back from Mississippi, when we came from Memphis, there was a dust storm that was so bad the planes had to keep routing around to land, and that wind is still accumulating. It's not as bad as it was before.
No,
that Monday.
But right now, like just driving here, you couldn't see past a certain point of the city.
Yes,
because it was just dust.
Trying to ride in this, my allergies are like, it's like a punch to the face. I've had a migraine for the past 2 days because what they're having me do is go through bike instructor course, which means officers with all properties need to be instructed by corporate and all this other stuff. So they want me to ride a bike. I'm like, okay, I did this back in February when I got certified. It fucking sucks because I'm not actively riding a bike, so my body's in condition that way. I do lift and I train and I move around. So yes, I have decent cardio when it comes to that. And doing DTs, it takes cardio as well because you're fighting with people. But riding a bike is like putting someone in a Spartan race last minute. Like, hey, there's a Spartan race on Monday. I'm gonna need you to be ready, and it's Friday. And it's like, oh, okay, it's me and another guy that are really like. We're the most active individuals out of a team of 8 because everybody's fat and old in my shift. I'm sounding bitter right now, but finding out after last February, the bike officer course is 3 days.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, they teach you how to ride a bike. Do a couple cool things like how to mount, dismount, side saddle, pick shit up. Do maneuvers and stuff. Use your bike as a tool, which I found very valuable.
Makes sense.
That Thursday, they did something called a victory lap where you start from one end of the strip and you ride your bike in between all the properties to the other. So you're doing a 5K, 5 to 10 miles within a 2 to 3 hour period in between. And if your body's not built for that, everything starts.
Body is built for that.
People who are actively, what's crazy? Even the guys that actively ride bikes at other properties, even they're having a hard time.
Yes.
But I'm like So we did the 5K back in February, and I was like, okay, I did it. I'm fine. The weekend comes up, you know, I had to go to work Friday, but it was whatever, it was easy. And I had the weekend off and I was fine. We find out that this academy for instructors is a 5-day course. Yesterday, we just did the training in the garage. But we had to do a 5K today. Do the victory lap today. We have to do the victory lap again tomorrow.
No.
The victory ride tomorrow.
No.
We have to do the victory ride again on Thursday.
No.
And then we're doing it Friday, but it's a suicide ride, meaning that you have to, rather than kind of going in between different properties and stopping here and there to catch water breaks, you actually have to physically stop per property. Go through the property and then go to the next property. You know how many properties owns?
Wait. What?
So for the last 3 hours of the shift, you're doing the victory ride. So it's a 3-hour thing, which feels like a fucking nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
They want us to start. So riding for 3 hours at the end of the day is like exhausting in itself. Like I'm beat. But Friday, we'll start in the morning, meaning we'll start at 8 a.m. and we won't be done till 4. So we're riding our bikes outside like this for 8 hours.
No.
I'm just like... Dude, half the people that we had a class of 24 sign up, and it already dropped down to 13 after day 2.
Yes.
Because people just can't physically...
But here's my thing. So after riding a bike like that, how are you supposed to be physically active to actually do anything?
You don't. I don't know what they're doing with this. I understood the bike and the officer part because they did teach you a bunch of pretty interesting things. And the victory lap was to kind of get you in the mindset of knowing how the properties run.
That's like a one-time thing.
But doing it 4 fucking days in a row, I'm like, I'm not gaining anything from it other than learning as an instructor how to take officers through the victory lap because you have to memorize where you're going. Like you're seeing, because mind you, it's like, you can't take specific routes because of warehouses or like different back ways like the bikes can't maneuver through. So you have to, like, when we started at MGM Grand, crossed the strip, went to the escalators that branch off to like New York or Park MGM. So you have to get your bikes on the escalators, go over a bridge, bike back down, and then it puts you on the backside of Park.
Okay.
Where T-Mobile is. You ride through there, and then you go on the backside to Excalibur, where Frank Sinatra is. Ride through Excalibur, go to Luxor. In front of Excalibur, you take a picture in front of the fucking castle and shit, and then you go to Mandalay.
What are you supposed to do, though?
Mandalay was the roughest because there's a hill at the docks, and it's just like a...
Oh, yeah.
It's like a 90-degree drop, and we had to... They took us down the hill and made us ride back up, and then went back down the hill.
No.
So after the second time trying to come back up, people can't physically pedal because your legs are burnt out.
No.
So you have to walk the bike up, and then you come back down to go through a breezeway to go to where Daylight, the pool club is.
Yeah.
They make you pick up your bike and put it on your shoulders, and you have to go up, I think it's like 3 flights of stairs, just with the bike on your back.
Yeah.
Go back down.
Easy shit.
Go back down, and then go back up. And at that point, people are just like gasping and weaving because you're exhausted.
Yes.
Ride through the South Convention, you take a break, get water, and then your mind's you're in the end of the strip already.
Right.
And you got to ride all the way back to the other side of the strip where MGM
And
is.
it's not a straight shot.
No. You go back towards Luxor, towards the front of it, and there's a bunch of Sphinx statues that spaced like a foot apart.
Yeah.
You have to do something called figure eights where you have to weave in between these. I'm like, dude, you're just doing this to make us like I the entire time. I'm not trying to sound spiteful, but this there is no training with this. You're just conditioning me to be able to ride a marathon, but I'm never going to use this outside.
I'm security, though. That's the thing. I'm security. What perp am I going to chase down after I've been riding this bike for 6 hours?
I don't know. Like I said, I think it's just kind of like when I do the DTI course, the Defensive Tactics Instructor course, I have NSOT, New Security Officer Training, which is all the new officers that have been hired with the company. I take them through 4 days of defensive tactics. They learn within the 3 days, and then the 4th day is a test day. Monday is like CPR. For DTI, when I'm training new officers, or existing officers become instructors, 5 days is kind of pushing it. After like the 2nd day, these people already know what they're doing.
Right.
So it's like you have to start making up scenarios and bring them downstairs to teach new students. And it's like you're kind of improvising. I feel like this is just a fucking improvisation.
Improvisation.
I'm sorry. End of rant. Yes. So this week is just, I'm over it.
Yes.
I'm over it. I'm tired, but I'm here to do work. We got to record. This is firing from the hip. A little bit of a tangent. But the reason why I wanted to mention this is I was talking to D is that it's crazy when you're not a tourist.
Yeah.
You don't get to see the strip during the day unless you're touring.
Right.
Locals don't go down in the middle of the day because what the fuck do you have to do?
Exactly.
So seeing how active people are and how things have kind of transitioned, with the masks being removed and people kind of like the social distancing going out.
Yeah.
You're seeing that the town came back to life because everything is just actively going. I mean, I'm seeing like vagrants, like homeless people, just fucking populating in different spots now. And I'm seeing so many guests actively moving and drinking and doing things where it's like,
yes,
it feels like we're at a point now where things are starting to progress forward.
They're trying to.
No, I'm telling you, this is coming from an aspect of me being inside of Las Vegas. Like, as not to compare off of you, but you're at home most of the time.
Well,
so
yes.
I have to be actively out and going from being out on the strip when we first shut down back in 2020 and seeing nobody,
right,
and now being out there and seeing everybody.
Yes.
There's a little skit that I just saw. Go ahead, fill in the gap for me while I can find this up. So
fill in the gap. Loving you.
No, use words, not songs.
One of the reasons I wanted to make a Firing from the Hip episode is because we're both kind of mentally exhausted. We're at our wits' end to a certain extent. It's almost like that point where you hit like emotional exhaustion. You have a breakdown and then you reboot.
I found it.
He found it.
Sorry. There was a thing saying, are traveling mask mandates a thing of the past? And it's like a 1-minute video. And it's this guy walking into a fucking area, and there's somebody like calling him out, telling him to come step by, and it explained how the reason why all the masks across the country got dropped is due to transportation. Yeah. So explained how planes and stuff like that, how they started, you don't have to wear masks.
Yeah, on the planes.
Now, when we flew out to Mississippi and Detroit, you had to wear a mask on the plane.
Yes.
And this was 2 weeks ago.
I was going to say, this
now,
was in past, I think, 72 hours.
Yeah, now DEN, which is like the form of the airline things, they removed that, which then Lyft and Uber removed that, which then
Uber,
Greyhound removed there, RTC removed there. So because all of transportation got completely banned free of masks, now the whole country is.
Well, see, the thing is it's...
This guy's like, meow, and he's driving a car around while he's doing it. Yeah.
See, this is how you know Lynn is a little kid at heart, because he still is amused by grown men playing with toys.
I thought that was funny. He's like, can I take this with me? And like, yes, Bob, you can take whatever you want with you because now we're free. And then it just cuts out, and I'm like, okay.
Is that the famous hit rapper and artist, The Baby?
The Babers? Have you seen his Uncle Ben's thing? He's got the prairie dog now. Oh, the prairie dog. The prairie dog's name is, he calls him Big Ounce. This is my son, Big Ounce.
Why?
And it's this giant fucking prairie dog that walks around.
That's weird.
Because I'm training the baby to fight Jake Paul. Yeah, it just random stuff. You know what's crazy?
So random.
When this dude started YouTube, I'm getting sidetracked with all this bullshit.
You're allowed.
When this dude started YouTube, Urban Rescue Rants, he started it last year. Pandemic put him out of work because he was working for some finance company.
Oh, wow.
And so he decided in Texas, I'm going to start housing animals and farming and stuff like that. He just hit 1 million subscribers in under a year.
That wasn't his day-to-day, forever ago?
He just decided, he's like, I don't want to work in corporate operation anymore. We started having to work from home. Texas got snowed in.
Yep.
So he's like, I enjoy rescuing animals. So he started doing it on the side in the back of his house.
Yeah.
Now he has this giant acre of land, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's just rehoming and doing stuff for animals.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put something together that makes us unique and stand out so that others will willingly contribute to our financial prosperity.
You know what? It makes it too, and he even said too, but he's also on a social media aspect where he's doing TikTok, he's doing a bunch of other things. He's even saying, he goes, he'll make jokes about it because he's cringe when he says a lot of stuff and he's not very popular, but making TikTok and YouTube shorts and stuff like that, he said he made a joke about it a week ago because he got 1,000 subscribers.
Lean the mic.
He got 1 million. He got 1 million subscribers. See, now you made me lose my train of thought. He did it all on an iPhone.
Oh yeah.
He recorded everything on a fucking iPhone.
Yes.
Which is crazy to me that on something so
basic, and that's what I'm saying.
You don't need expensive equipment.
You don't need it. No. That's what I mean. Like, it's cool to have, the 8K cameras and the picture so crisp I can see a dimple on your left butt cheek through your overalls. I don't need that.
That's intense.
It sounds cool, and it's really cool when you see it, but for the most part, the average Joe doesn't have that type of accessibility to that type of technology. Mm-hmm. Most of us have a Galaxy, an iPhone. Some people just have a tablet, and they just want to make a video. You know what I mean? And so that's why, it's kind of, like I said, this is one of the reasons I want to make this episode, is because me and Lynn, we try to find topics to talk about, and we want to make sure we sound relevant, and we want to make sure we say stuff that people actually want to hear, things like that. But after a while, from time to time, you just got to say fuck it and just let people know what's going on with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just be like the realest of the real. we try to make videos. We would love to make more videos. We were trying to make sure we had that good equipment. We bought a camera that was supposed to be able to shoot in 4K. Didn't work out.
Trash.
Lynn got a new phone. I got a new phone. His phone works, but it was eating up all the memory on his phone. My phone's camera was garbage. So after a while, I was just like, bro, let's just stick to audio. Let's just do what we do best. Sit on a couch, sit at a table, sit wherever, and just talk about some shit. This is kind of the pinnacle of what I wanted to do with our podcast. We're mentally exhausted. I'm dealing with some dumb shit at work because I've been trying to get promoted. It hasn't worked out. Now my new supervisor's got me doing all this extra side projects, and I've tapped out so much so that I've been I was editing the episode, which I'm going to speak into existence, the one you heard previously.
Oh, that's a big drink of water right there.
My man. So I was editing the episode, and I was at the last 15 minutes of the episode, and all of a sudden the audio just decided your quality is going to go from HD to shit. And so, I kind of had like a mental break. Not in a way that's like, oh, I'm spiraling, I'm going to start cutting myself. But it was like, fuck it. Fuck it. This is just how it works sometimes. Sometimes you just have a bad fucking day. Sometimes you have to make decisions for other people on behalf of people who don't give a shit about you. Sometimes you have to work harder than you actually need to work because somebody told you to do it as opposed to what you want to do. Me and Lynn, I would rather be exhausted recording this shit. I'd rather fall asleep recording this fucking podcast than the dumb shit I have to deal with at work, because to me, this future that I'm trying to create here is much more worthwhile than anything I could have at my job. So since that's the case, I'm going to be real with you. I got to be open, and I got to let you know I'm having a shit fucking day today. That's just how it goes. Lynn's having a shit fucking day today. It's just how it goes.
It's just not today in general.
Well, no, but I mean, it's a build-up.
It's a build-up over time, but trying to compare and contrast with everybody, I feel like I've heard this more through others. My shit day compared to yours are different.
Yes.
And when I talk to other people, a lot of friends that I am around besides D, obviously, I don't share this part with people that I'm beat, because I know a lot of people couldn't do what I do day to day and be able to make it. And it's like I'm doing it every day and I'm still here. Mm-hmm. So when I come across some of my friends, like my boy C, I'll hear anytime I meet up with him, it's like there's certain times I do want to talk to him about what's going on, because that's like my second best friend. But the minute I meet up with him, he just starts going into a tangent about everything that's affecting him at work. Yeah. And I start hearing it. I'm like, well, fuck, now I feel bad, because between depression and just being exhausted,
I don't want to add to
it's like I don't want to add to your shit. So it's like you get stuck in this loop of like, well, I can't share my feelings, but then I need to get shit off my chest. Right. So when I want to go talk to somebody, they're going through the same shit. So it reminds me that everybody right now, I haven't really came across anybody that doesn't have problems. Right. They just have more work to do.
Even people with money have problems.
But this is the big thing that I want to put out there. And this is, like I said, and I've heard the same before. So you don't have problems. You just have more work to do.
Fair.
Bitching and crying about it isn't going to make it any better. So find ways to make things better. Put the work in. I'm exhausted physically more than most people would be in an average day that don't do what I just did. Yeah. And I have to do it for another 4 days. Yeah. And I could have stayed home, slept, and done nothing. Right. But I still made the time to record today. Right. Because I don't have problems. I just have more work to do.
And that's what it is.
It's the same thing with D. D's going through his shit at home. He drove to see me this time. And it's 35 minutes away. And I'm sure he's just exhausted. But he doesn't have problems. He just has more work to do.
There's more work to do.
So put that into perspective when shit starts getting hard. Bitching to people about it, you're going to get that small comfort of like, oh, well, I'm sorry you're going through this. I understand what you're feeling. Which I told him the same thing. I hate with a passion when someone tells me I understand what you're going through. I'm sorry you don't. It's like getting shot by something, getting shot by a bullet and telling someone I'm in pain and I'm hurting, and then them going, yeah, I understand what you're going through. It's like, have you been shot?
Like,
no.
Tell me about it.
Tell me about it. So then you shoot them and they're like, why'd you shoot me? Because I want you to understand what I'm going through.
Feel my pain.
Yes, so you can't always be on the same level with somebody. He might not feel how exhausted I am, and I might not know how mentally tired he is because he's going through something different. Right. There's a difference between sympathy and empathy. Empathy is understanding when somebody is going through a specific emotion and working with that, saying, I don't understand, but I'm glad you told me. Right. Opposed to sympathy is like, oh, yeah, I understand. It sucks you're feeling that way.
silver lining, as some people
Yes.
might say. Yes.
It's something a lot of people do force a habit. Is they try to
Yes.
show sympathy by comparing, but you can't compare if you don't live what they're going through.
No.
So be empathetic in that point where you can kind of adapt and adjust. For your own personal stuff, if there's problems going on, don't wait for somebody to come save you.
Yes.
Go fix your shit. Go fix your shit and go change something in your lifestyle to make it better. It's doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
If I can't physically go to the gym or do what I need to do outside, I'm going to do something mentally, vocally, which is what I'm doing right now.
Right.
The podcast. I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to go do a couple things today, and I couldn't do it. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow through with this.
I'm going to do something.
Something for me, because these 9 to 5s that we all work at the end of the day with.
It's not worth it, man.
It's not. You spend those 9 to 5s working for somebody else to collect money that you don't even get to keep.
Yes.
When you're off work, give yourself that hour or two to do something for yourself.
Yes.
So then the rest of the day, if you want to sleep or eat or do nothing, fine. Okay?
For you.
To do something productive.
Just something.
This is
because
my 2 hours.
That's the goal. It's kind of to build our own future. You know what I mean? Because we've all been programmed. Go to school, get a 9 to 5. You know, hopefully you go to college. If not, you still get a 9 to 5. Blah 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 blah. That's cool. But at the same time, who are you really working for? Now, some people, I can't even lie. Some people have that perfect dream job. They're making, 5-6 figures a year. And they couldn't be happier. Hey, kudos to you, my pimpin'.
5 figures. That's
5 to 6 figures.
That's nothing. You make 5 figures.
I know, but some people are okay with that.
That's not a dream.
Just like the people working at where did you Smith? After you left Smith, you were like the youngest cat there.
Yeah. So my shit's different. Like I said, I will always. I try really hard not to compare myself with people that get more for doing less work. I don't find other people that work as hard as I do. When I was at, how old was I when I was at Smith's?
16?
I was 16 working at Smith's, still working construction with my dad at the same time. And then when I got old enough to bartend, when I got 21, I was working at Smith's as a courtesy clerk. I got promoted to stocking shelves, and I was working at Tilly's.
I was going to say, you went to Tilly's,
I was working 2 jobs. And then when I got my liquor license, I was able to bartend at night, work at Tilly's during the day, and work at Smith's in the morning.
Crazy
and I don't know anybody. And when we got when we got evicted from our apartment, I was the only one that was employed.
Yeah.
So it's like
we all got laid off.
That constant drive of hustling.
Yes.
I respect it for people that can do it because I've done it, and I'm still doing it.
Yes.
But I know at the end of the day, if that money isn't going towards something, you're stockpiling cash for nothing.
But I mean, that's what I mean, though. You have people that are making $30,000 a year, and they couldn't be happier.
And
and there's some people I've seen it.
It's rare, unless if you're a minimalist and you're traveling the world, and yes, you can pick up some stray job. That's something that long term.
Yeah,
I'm telling myself at 40, I'm tapping out. I will not work for where I'm at now. I will not do anything else. If I'm not self-employed, I'm going to travel and find ways to make money while doing other things.
Yes.
Because I need to change something. I can't be like a lot of these guys. When I was riding bikes through the properties, I had to go to my home property, which I can put now because I don't work there anymore, Mandalay Bay. But and there's an officer there that I saw at one of the loading docks. This dude had been there for so goddamn long, and he works so much overtime between working concerts, events at the pool, at the beach, whatever, day swings and graves, and he's still doing the same thing, and he's in his 60s.
Yes.
And when he started, he was early 20s.
Yes.
So for 20 years of his life, he's doing the exact same thing with nothing to change other than he stockpiled money. And it's like, I can't waste that. Why waste all this time building money to where you have to be in your...
Because it's a different mindset.
Past your prime.
Yes.
And then like, okay, now I'm going to retire. It's like, I just want to live my life now.
But it's a different generational mindset.
That's true, because he is older.
Going back to those times, it was you're working to make sure your family had.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So then our parents came around, and they didn't have to work as hard, still hard as fuck, but not as hard. So then they could give us kind of a better future than they had. So then we come along, we're blessed with things we have. Not only are we gifted to have good jobs, but we also have a very good life, good enough, I won't say better than most, but I would say above average.
Yeah, we live comfortably enough to you're not homeless and you're not begging for stuff.
Right.
It's the things that I try not to be spiteful out of is, obviously this is me sounding like I'm old, but people that don't do anything and they're making more of a profit than most people.
Yes.
Like not to knock on TikTok or shit like that, but you have a bunch of kids that are doing nothing and they're multimillionaires just based off of their status.
Yeah.
But then within 10, 15 years, like it's I can't even talk shit about them. It's like the Paul brothers. Mm-hmm. It's like Jake Paul's whatever, he talks shit, he boxes, does everything. But Logan Paul, this dude not only started off on YouTube, fucked that shit up, went to Disney, fucked that shit up, did the whole Suicide Forest thing, got into boxing, did good with boxing, opened up his own podcast, does good at that. And now I'm seeing at Walmart, he has his own, have you seen it?
No.
There's him and KSI, there's a brand called Prime. You can see it at Walmart. You can see it everywhere. But it's like I say, you can't even make fun of them. It's like now they have a hydration company like Vitamin Water.
Yes.
And to use social media to build businesses, I respect that 100%.
Yes.
But when the people that are just living in the TikTok house and doing dumb fucking videos and dances and shit and making clout and money from that and not investing in anything, so then 20 years down the road when they're fucking they have nothing to show for it. That's what irritates me, is that you had an opportunity to use something and you decided just to say fuck it and run. And I've never had that mentality because in my age, at that age, I was working 3 jobs.
I was going to say, our life doesn't work that way.
I was hustling at that point.
If I don't walk on the street.
But you're also getting at that point now where we're going downhill into a different age generation. Where, like you said, you had the parents, our grandparents, used to just work.
Yes, that's all they did.
They had to do that shit because they had to provide for the party a little bit, but still work really hard.
Right.
I always remember my mom and my dad and my stepdad always working. And then where we're at now, where me and you were doing the same thing.
Yes.
We had our fun, but we were also working.
Yes.
And then now we're just working all the time.
Yes.
And now you got kids that are just, they're not even doing anything.
Well, see, and that's a disconnect. And, that's why I hate about, I would say the future generation is we listen.
Hate's a strong word. Don't say hate.
Sorry.
Dislike.
I strongly dislike.
There you go.
The direction our future generation is going, just because, I remember, dude, like sitting down talking to my stepdad, my mom, my grandfather, talking to Naj, talking to the brothers, talking to just getting input from all of these people all the time, constantly getting input, like almost like
what's
they're
cool?
increasing my power level.
And you know what? I've learned that too, especially with, and again, it makes me feel old, even though I'm not, but I'm around different ages, and there's a guy that I work with. His name is Gilbert. And I call him Lieutenant Dan.
I have to edit that.
Wait a minute.
Keep going.
Just let it ride.
Lieutenant Dan.
I call him Lieutenant Dan because, like I said, he's ex-Marines, and he's got a bullet in his knee and a bullet in his back, and he talks like a Marine. He fucking yells. But anytime I talk with him, like when it's just me and him talking, he will kind of just like throw wisdom my way.
Yes.
And the old me would have been like, I don't want to hear this shit because it isn't relevant to what I need to do in my life.
Right.
But when I sit down and actually take the time to process it, granted, he's very long-winded, so a conversation that should only take maybe 3 minutes takes like 10 to 15.
But he dropped some gold
But when
nuggets.
I'm going through it, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I waited to let him finish his sentence.
Yes.
Opposed to just be like, rush him along.
Right. So I miss being able to do that.
Yes.
Where I would just sit down. Like,
absorb wisdom.
Me being in a religious person, working security at night on the strip, those things just don't go together. We live in the city of sin, and you represent God. So it's just crazy the types of people that would come my direction, the people I would talk with and work with. And there was this old cat there. His name was Will. I called him my work father. I
Sex in my phone. Sorry.
I don't know what he's doing.
Sex in my phone. You remember that from Simpsons?
Go away.
When Homer's trying to play Lisa's saxophone.
Go away.
Sorry, I didn't. That just caught me.
Was that the one with Michael Jackson?
I don't know if Michael Jackson was in Simpsons. That's South.
Michael Jackson was in The Simpsons.
Was he? I just remember that Homer was trying to...
Lisa met him in prison.
He was trying to cheer up Lisa because Lisa was crying, and he goes, I'll play you a song. And he puts his lips on the saxophone and goes, saxophone.
See? So anytime I try and get in touch with my feelings, here comes Lynn. He's like, no feelings
I'm
for
sorry.
You.
I thought about it with the mic was as close to my face. I'm just tired. Continue.
No, it's very interesting the unique experiences you get to have with these people that they are imparting their wisdom onto you. And it's not even so much like my life was so shit, make sure you don't do the things I did. It's more like I'm content. I'm happy with the life I've led. I would have done some things differently. Let me go ahead and hand this over to you, youngster. And you do with it what you will. I don't feel like you can do that anymore. Like everything's on social media and texting and emails, and I just there's been a disconnect, and we're not gonna get into that right now. It's a whole different episode. But it kind of, that's what's kind of keeping me on track, is the fact that if I can't find it, I want to make that happen. I want to have a space where it's like we're having a Project Airwaves meetup. and me and Lynn or whoever
you can
our
actually
crew
sit
is,
there and talk with everybody that's actually
Yeah,
came.
just be on people who are like-minded,
which would be cool, man.
You know what I
and I've thought about that. There's a guy, there's a brand out there called Alpha Elite, and it's a fitness gram like Russell Brand and all that stuff like that. So it's a gym brand. I remember it's back in 2014 when I first really started getting into YouTube, when it kind of started to grow.
Yeah.
I was going through some shit. I'd gone through a breakup and everything, and I needed stuff to keep me occupied. Like, I needed something just playing in the background because I didn't want to be in my head, my thoughts. And there's two channels I watched religiously. What do you think the first one was?
Oh, God. Jacksepticeye?
Close.
Markiplier? Yeah.
Markiplier, when I saw Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
You actually turned me on to Markiplier.
Yes, Markiplier was my first one.
Yeah.
You got me on to Jack.
Yeah.
That was my comedy that would make me laugh. Like, I'd be in tears.
Happy Wheels.
Laughing. Happy Wheels, Five Nights
God,
at Freddy's,
yes.
I Am Bread. Like,
I Am Bread.
Yes, those used to carry me. The Rage games used to make me cry in laughter. To make me feel, I needed to feel better because I was just depressed at that point.
Yes.
And Christian Guzman, which was a fitness guy.
Okay. Yeah, you used to talk about him.
I used to talk about him because I used to watch him all the fucking time. And this guy was just a kid that was working out in a gym, and it was like in a little tiny, like, straightaway of a garage that was his Alpha Elite gym.
Nice.
And it was just nothing, like barely even 300 square foot. And he had all the gear in there. And dude, if I would have to show you the timeline difference of 2014 Christian Guzman to 2022. He opened up a giant, I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of square foot gym called Alpha Elite. And he has his own brand now that he sells worldwide, where you can get it. It's got the little wolf logo on the shirt. So it's everywhere now. This guy that started from nothing. And now he has something called Alpha Land. It's one of the biggest gyms in the world because it's 4 gyms smashed into one.
Oh, delicious.
They have food places there. They have restaurants in there. You can stay there inside of one, which is the old school, like Arnold-style gym.
Yeah.
Gym 2, which is more modernized. Gym 3, which is super high-tech with all the machines that do specific things. And then they've got it's his home-based.
Yeah.
And this kid is 28 now.
Yeah.
So he jumped up close to 10 years because when he started, he was like 18 or 17.
Yeah.
And it just shows that, like, if you're consistent with this, and now it's like you see the meet and greets that he does, he has hundreds of thousands of people showing up all the talk. And he said it in some of his episodes. He's like, I want to go and make enough money to where I don't have to question where I'm going to eat.
Yes.
Because I don't care about the money.
Yes.
He goes, my company alone, it showed him one of the things is my company on just this one location made $7.7 million.
I believe it.
The money, he goes, I'm just using it so I can feed my friends, feed my family. I don't need a bunch of nice shit.
Because that's what it is. And that's ultimately what I want to do. I want to have it so me and you make a bunch of money. And then not even like our patrons, our guests, they come up with the ideas. And they're like, hey, I either want to talk about this or I want to try this.
You know what that reminds me of? Like Shark Tank. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be able to get enough funding to where someone pitches me something. It was like, hey, I wanted to start a podcast, but I run a short. I was like, okay, cool. Here's $1,000.
Right, here's
Go do
$1,000.
something with it. Let me collect 5%, and then you do whatever.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I want to be able to do that because I feel like, I'm going to say with the upper 1%, you know what I mean? Those people that have their money.
5%. 1% would be like a billionaire. 5% or
Well,
because the 1% is the one paying you to become.
Not necessarily, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, I'll put it this way. So, Sean Puffy Combs, he's not going to come pay you to become a rapper.
Fuck that guy. I met him one time when I was doing security for him.
I know.
He purposely had his security run a red light at Mandalay just so he wouldn't have to wait for our mobile to follow them.
I mean, that's Mayweather.
No, Mayweather was nice, dude.
No. Mayweather is
Super
nice. His security, sorry guys, were assholes. They were no, bro. So when we side note,
no, you're going too far into details.
I know. I'm just gonna say real quick. So when they would pull up, they had Dodge Ram 1500s,
yes, I've
turbocharged.
I've seen them.
They would pull up, block the entire parking lot.
Yes,
they would block 3 lanes of the strip.
I'm not questioning his clout.
Okay. Just saying.
But P. Diddy was like that person where it's like you're not even allowed to
fucking up my analogy.
You're not allowed to look at him.
He's not gonna pay you to become a rapper.
I will be a rapper, and I don't even need his money.
Yes.
They'll call me French Toast the Killer.
But what I mean is, people at the top don't often want to reach down and help other people come up.
Yeah, that's true.
And or unless it's like one of their own. So my thing is, while we're in the middle, because we're middle class, maybe. I think he's losing his shit at this point. Yeah, he's going full retard.
You never go full retard.
Never go full on ourselves, but it's like, here, Let me find a way. Because
Mr. Beast is dope because he does stuff like that. I just heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast not too long ago, and he was just saying.
Did you hear about the cat that the dude? I'm pretty sure he's a YouTuber. He offered the dude to lock himself into a room for. He'd give him like $1,000,
and it's like the room was, and Mr. Beast oversaw it.
It was amazing. The dude came out with like $13,000.
Yeah, and it's just staying in the room for how much was it per day?
It was $1,000 a day, so he was in there for 13 days.
But they were fucking with him, right? Like they were.
No, they would just check on him. They would just check on him. He said there were cameras
for 13 days?
He was monitored because it was sensory deprivation. Like no one came in and physically checked on him. They were observing him from cameras.
Okay, I get that.
And
that's
he had like a panic button.
After a certain there's days where I just want to be by myself.
Right.
And then after like the third day, I'm like, fuck, I really need human contact.
Right. That's what it was. He was missing his wife and kids or whatever. But after 13 days, Mr. Beast walks into the room, starts chucking out briefcases, busting open full of money. See, I'm like, that's the shit I want to do.
If I'm making money, I could survive probably 30 days.
Dude, I don't give a shit how many days. That's just fun.
Yes.
To have somebody do something, do some shit like Jacksepticeye.
You know what though? The only thing I don't like about that though, that kind of feels like a
like Hunger Games.
More or less, like they're doing it for that person. They're demoralized.
Like their enjoyment.
Yeah, they're demoralizing. Like how the Romans used to make gladiators fight. Yeah. Like I'm gonna put you in a room and watch you just.
I thought it was a little dark too, but
it seems really dark.
You're not allowed to question the beast.
I'm going to give you money now because you stayed in a room for 13 days and we got to watch you.
Yeah.
Like it just seems peasantry. Like
I agree.
That person's a nobody, so they're like, "Oh, I couldn't do it."
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I wouldn't want to do something like that, but it's like we make a BS obstacle course.
But yes, so if you make like an obstacle course and say, "Hey, you got to fucking do this, and this, and I'll give you money," but
everybody wins. So say you have 10. Yeah. Okay, the first 2 get $10,000. Well, the next 3 get $5,000.
Didn't he do that? He did a makeshift squid game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So everybody wins, even if you're not number 1.
Right.
Just shit like that. I want to be able to do for people because that's the whole point. The community is just reinvesting in itself.
Yes,
and that's all I want to do. I want to. I don't just want your money so I can live a better life.
It's my money.
I want your money so I can make money and I can give you money. And it's like, hey, you have this idea and let's give it a shot.
Trust in us to invest your money into good things to make you more money.
You keep your ear to the ground and your eyes to the skies, okay?
I thought it was your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground.
We're not ending the episode.
Can we end it? I'm tired.
Let's wrap it up.
Sleepy. Thanks, man.
It's my dick in a box.
What? That's not wrapping. Oh, I guess it is wrapping. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Well, this episode went absolutely nowhere, but you know what? It felt nice just to kind of rant.
It did. It felt good to put some of that stuff out. We're going to get these towards you guys every once in a while.
Yeah.
And want you to kind of not feel. What's what I'm looking for? I want you to understand that we get, without saying this in a rhetorical way, because I would just, I'd be a hypocrite saying it. We understand what it is you're going through.
Yes.
Even if it's a completely different reality situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not the only one going through whatever it is. Be it depressed, be it tired, being exhausted.
Yes.
Relationship issues, work issues. 2022 is better than it was in 2020, but it's still hard for people to recover from what happened.
Yes.
And now we're kind of in this thing where it's like we all are mentally tapping out. Like shit just doesn't feel like it's getting any better, even though it has.
Yes.
So my biggest thing is that I want to put out there is that at the end of the day, you're not. What was I saying?
Win. You said a lot.
Damn, dude, I drew a blank.
Yeah.
You don't have problems. You just have more work to do.
There you go.
I did a thing.
I kind of want this to be like a time capsule. Yeah. Like, I want us 5-10 years from now, play this episode and be like, dude, you remember back in 2022?
Even if people aren't listening to this as in the bulk that I would enjoy, because obviously we're not frequent when it comes to making these episodes. I saw, to wrap this portion of my side up, Joe Rogan is at these episodes right now, and I'm sorry I'm beating a dead,
Beat the horse out of this.
Beat the horse. He's at episode 1,800 and something, and when he started, his plans were just to do a podcast with his buddies, smoke a lot, drink a lot, and just talk shit.
Yeah.
And it didn't come until episodes like 600 or 700 that people really started picking up. And this is like a high-time comedian.
Right.
But he was one of the founding fathers of podcasting, and now there's millions of them around the world. So the biggest thing is like, in time, I know we will find our niche to bring a crowd in, and I hope that they can revert back to these older episodes and see that, you can start from fucking nothing.
We struggled just like everybody else.
Dude, now this is just second nature. I remember in the beginning, we were trying to figure out the editing, figuring out mics, figuring out locations. Right. It's kind of like, in time, we're going to get the videos up and going, we're getting the merch going, we have patrons.
That's what I mean. Like, it's crazy. I didn't think we would have it. We have, 7 patrons?
More than that. Don't put out the amount.
I mean, I'm not saying how much we bring in.
It doesn't matter.
It's public.
Don't put out the amount.
It's on Patreon.
Don't put out the amount.
Go to Patreon. You'll see how many patrons we have.
Don't put out the amount.
I didn't know people would actually pay to hear us put out content.
Yes.
Is what I was getting at. And so it's just nice. So as long as you guys are here to listen, we'll be here to talk.
Yes.
All right. That's what I got. You good?
I'm good.
All right. We're going to wrap this up. I'm D.
This is Lynn.
Project Airwaves. If you didn't catch it at the beginning, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on YouTube. Check out our Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're always posting. Check out our website, and you can always follow up with us on our email. We love you guys. You did so good. Keep your head in the clouds.
Keep your feet on the ground, always moving forward.
I don't know why he whispered that.
Taste the rainbow.
But you did so good.
Bye.